Hi, I'm Anastasia. I am the interior designer with Hatha Studio, and today we're going to be covering the colors of the year for 2026. And we're just going to be going over the four big brands from Sherwin, Valspar, Benjamin Moore, Behr. We're just going to be going over their main color because I think all their color palettes of 2026 look really good, but we're just going to be covering the main color, their pride and joy. So, an honorable mention from Pantone, their Cloud Dancer color. I mean, like, obviously, this is very versatile. You could use it anywhere. It's just like a mushroomy white. I'd say it's very uninspiring, especially considering that they're the ones that started the trend of colors of the year. And what they have to say about it is. So they said that Cloud Dancer was selected for its calming presence, its ability to inspire reflection, and its versatility across design disciplines. It offers an open foundation for creative exploration with color. So I guess they're marketing it as a base and a foundation for you to use other colors with it. So it's a white. You can't hate on it too much, but I mean, would have been fun to see a color from them, since they're known for color. Sherwin, Universal Khaki. This color, you know what? I actually don't hate any color ever. And I feel like there's always a place to use a color and make it look really nice. I feel like Universal Khaki is not a great whole house color. Maybe for exterior with some white windows and trim, but I would not recommend just like buying a house and just painting it universal khaki. I was actually thinking of using this in a current project on a kind of a built-in wall, accent wall, and we decided against it and went with something a little bit lighter. But I am using a similar color from Sherwin called Worn Khaki. It's a little bit more green and a little bit more rich than this color. And I'm really excited to use it. It's going to be in a bathroom. It's going to be so pretty with this dark vanity and then some white trim. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Kind of reminds me of the Tuscan era, and I feel like it's not far behind us yet to relive currently. It's not like vintage enough for it to be cool again. There's ways to make it look pretty. I'm using it right now, like a similar color right now. There's ways to make it look pretty by staying grounded in more, I think, interesting and contrasting furniture. Like I have actually right now, like my curtains are kind of a khaki and they look cute because there's, the fun modern white pattern on it. So I wouldn't necessarily skip this one. I'd skip it as a whole house color. I definitely wouldn't blind buy this, get a testing strip for it. And honestly, if you have used it, please tell me how it's been going for you because I'm really interested to see this color in real spaces, and I haven't seen it yet. So moving on to Valspar, I feel like Valspar, they're owned by Sherwin, so they chose something I feel like that goes with the Sherwin color. So Valspar went with warm eucalyptus. You know what? My initial reaction, it's the new millennial gray. I love this green color. I've personally used it in my own kitchen and then I've used it in a client's house. How do I feel about it? I like it. I feel like it's gonna last. It is a neutral. It does feel a little dated. I don't know if I'd recommend it specifically right now because it was so hyped up and such a trend in the past 10 years. I feel like it's very similar to their 2022 color, Blanched Time. I feel like that's when green was just popping off. That was a neutral green year. And it's interesting that they went back in that era. I'd say they added in some more warmth and similar to the universal khaki from Sherwin. And soft greens are always going to look good. I feel like you can't make it look bad, and it's always going to have a special place in my heart. Valspar has a picture of it as a fireplace, as cabinets. This is very this is very cozy. This is a very cozy color. And ooh, there's this pretty way. Valspar has this pretty image of it used with a light blue trim, base trim. You know what? I like this color. It's a take on gray. You know what's interesting? This color is also very different from the past year of their deep blue encore color. So again, they're going with this peaceful color. What was Pantone's last year? Okay. Mocha Mousse was Pantone's last year. I feel like they're just going all like more grounded and peaceful and natural this year. This would actually be a really pretty exterior color. So if you're thinking of choosing a siding color, I feel like this is timeless and fun. And I actually have a friend currently redoing his siding, and he's going to be doing a color very similar to this with some black trim and windows and door. And I'm just like so excited to see the result. But I feel like overall this is a classic color. Does feel a little bit dated, a little bit trendy. Next color is going to be my favorite of the bunch so far, Benjamin Moore Silhouette. So far, this is the one that feels the most timeless and is giving luxury. It's so cozy in a decadent, yummy cashmere way. It's so rich. If you have an outdated bathroom right now, or you want to liven up your movie room, basement room, or maybe paint some cabinetry, paint some built-ins, this is such a good color. And don't be afraid to experiment with using it on trim and doors. I would use it on everything. Just commit to it. I love we have a movie room in green black, Sherwin-Williams green black, and it's so cozy going down there. It would not be the same if it was white. I'd say if you have a room that's kind of just like your chilling zone, man cave type of situation, this would be a pretty color. Or an office, or honestly, this would be so beautiful as an exterior color. Make sure not to use black though, because it is kind of on the darker side. I would probably choose white trim and have fun with it. This is a safe blind buy, just if you're ready to commit to a darker color. You could also just look at these other brands and find a similar, they all have similar colors, but I feel like this one is just speaking to trends for this year and honestly timeless beauty. So let's move on to the next one, Behr Hidden Gem. I feel like they really went all out with a fun color, and especially compared to the other three, this one is very unique. I feel like it's a great office color, or school, or some public space where there's a lot of people and you kind of want to make it feel a little bit more interesting and clean and give it some contrast. For homes, it could be really pretty. I feel like in a bathroom, again, I love accent colors in bathrooms, and you wouldn't get tired of it. It does feel a little bit trendy, but that's just life. Why, if you're not gonna pick trendy colors, it's just gonna be timeless, gray, white, light browns, dark browns. if this color is really speaking to you, I'd say go for it. Just one thing I have noticed with this color is when people put on wainscoting on the walls with this color, it just looks a little bit unbalanced and incorrect because it's such a loud color, and adding in more things on the wall and more decorative trim is going to, it's like pushing it out even more. That adds more shadows, more lines on the wall. I feel like if you have this color, you can keep it minimal on the walls. It's like so loud in a nice, in a beautiful way that you don't need anything else on the walls. And especially with wainscoting, that's such the time period of wainscoting. I think that when it started, the colors were very muted and neutral and dusty, like a more dusty red, more dusty blue. They didn't even have such rich colors back then to do like this really rich teal. So I'm all for experimentation and do whatever you think is beautiful and you want to live in or you want to work in. But I would stay a little bit away from adding too many things on the walls with this color, unless you're maximalist and like you like that look. Not putting any trim on the walls is going to save you money. That's a good point. So it's looking very pretty on some of these. I wouldn't do a color drench with the ceiling with this one. It just feels like it already feels very heavy and like a big hug. This color feels like a big hug, and I feel like adding the color on the ceiling is going to make it a little more claustrophobic. As an exterior color, this could be pretty. Not my number one pick for a lot of homes. If you have a lot of like red brick, maybe it could look pretty. If you have a tiny home, I feel like tiny homes are where you can show your personality and use brighter colors like this. If you have a house that's maybe 2,000 square feet or less, I feel like it could be fun, especially if it's like 1,500 or less. This, you could get away with it on the exterior. And with this one, I feel like you could go black or white trim. And honestly, I would love to see this in an office. Maybe a bookstore or somewhere where you want it to feel natural and rich and cool. I'm seeing people use it in a really pretty way. Here's one example from Behr with this rusty orange headboard. This is what I'm talking about. Behr, just like this color would look amazing in a public, like it's some kind of office space. I would recommend it for maybe accent rooms, not necessarily whole house colors. I would recommend it for offices, personal or business. Keep it minimal on the walls. Let the color speak for itself because it's speaking. This color is for someone with a little bit of whimsy and someone that's not afraid to express themselves. They have a colorful personality. Not necessarily that they're like loud and outgoing, but just create big imagination and very creative, and someone who's not scared of color. So that is going to be it for the color comparison. I'd say Sherwin Valspar stayed natural, a little bit safe, a little bit outdated, I'd say, out of the four. Benjamin brought the contrast and Behr brought the fun. So if I had to skip one for most homes, it'd probably be the Valspar warm eucalyptus, because we've seen it done so many times. Even though Sherwin is is a big question mark for me. I'm like, I don't know if I'm seeing this in actual spaces, this color, but I guess they're bringing it back, and it's gonna be fun to see what they do with it. But we've seen the warm eucalyptus, we've seen the grayish green colors, and I feel like it's time maybe to move on. We can circle back, but for like personally right now, I'm a little bit over it. If you're thinking of using any of these colors in your home, I'd recommend looking at the color palette with this main color from each of the brands, because those are really pretty. I would, Pantone, obviously, white. We already have that everywhere. Try to go bold, do something new, go out of your comfort zone, do hidden gem in a kitchen. Don't be afraid. You don't have to have everything that's super timeless. Although I do think these 4 could be timeless if used correctly. Just do the trendy color. And specifically this year, everyone's going for a more nostalgic look, you know, like the modern grandma style. I'd say choose a color that you genuinely like looking at and appreciate, and seeing it every day is going to make you so happy. Everybody go safe. See, my closet and my walls are so safe. I didn't get to them yet. Didn't get to the fun part. But have fun with your wardrobe. Have fun with your just life experiences this year. Have fun with your car color. It's so easy to just add a little bit of spice to your life, and color is just an easy way to do that. One piece of advice when looking for paint, like pretty basic advice, is if you go to the paint store, their lights are pretty bright and you're holding up the paper swatch up like this most of the time, or you put it on their, you know, table. I'd recommend, if you can't afford a sample, to buy a sample and test it on your walls. I recommend to get their swatch and then tape it to whichever room you want to paint. Tape it to all the walls and see how it looks in your lighting, because their overhead lighting is super strong. What if you're putting it in a bathroom with a very, you know, just one little vanity light? It's not going to look like that. And most of the time, colors that you see in store are going to look darker on the wall than your brain perceives it when you just look at a swatch. I am so for you just going with what you think looks beautiful. I think there's a way to use every color nicely. Like a bright orange could look good somewhere. That could look good in like a gym, or a bright pink could be a cute accent color. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of resale value. My big tip, resale value, or if you're thinking of moving in 5-10 years, it's so easy, especially to repaint. Just go with a color that you like. Don't think about how the house is going to sell or what the trend is going to be in 5-10 years, because it's going to change. It's going to be different. You know what? Even white, I'd say, is kind of a trend of like 2015. White is, you know, classic, but we were overdoing it back then. So just go with your heart. Okay. So that wraps it up, and thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'm going to be posting every Wednesday. So I'll see you then. Bye.